Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and this is going to be another movie review for you guys. Now, I wasn't planning on reviewing this movie to you guys. I gotta admit, I wasn't planning on reviewing it for a while. I didn't think I'd be able to find it for a while. I didn't think I'd be able to actually review it to you until it was available on Blu-ray. But I was really looking forward to this movie, and this movie, Frank, and that movie is Frank. Now, let me just say that right now, that movie that I watched, that I'm going to be reviewing, is Frank. Now, Frank was a movie that I heard many great things about. I didn't even know what this movie was about. Frank was kind of one of those movies that snuck up on me, definitely. Like, I heard all this critical acclaim about it, and that really got me to wanting to watch this movie. And because of that, what I did was I kept searching for it, and I go on this site called Putlocker, which, let me just say this, I don't condone watching mainstream movie releases on Putlocker. They are in horrible quality, but some are in very good quality. For example, these indie movies, and there I see Frank. I freak out because I've been looking for it very much, and that made me want to check it out right away, so I just checked it out, and I must say that Frank is definitely one of the best movies of the year. It definitely deserves all the praise that it got. It was a very good movie. I really enjoyed this movie. Is it perfect? No, I didn't. I thought there were a few things that I would have wanted to see a little bit more of in this movie. However, it is definitely one of the best films of this year. I really enjoyed the movie, definitely because of that, and I just thought it was a very good movie. So, let's talk about what the plot of Frank is about. The plot of Frank, basically, is about this guy, John, played by Domhnall Gleeson. He is this very, musician wannabe, very much into music. He is really trying to come up with his next song. He's a songwriter. He likes to make his own songs, and he can't come up with his next song. So, he searches the world around for inspiration. The very first scene, actually, is very cool. He's at, like, this beach, and in his head is just, like, thinking of lyrics to sing about the people on the beach. It's very cool to watch, definitely. He walks over to, he hears, like, all this, noise at the beach, and he finds this band that's playing, and the keyboardist goes crazy, and, ends up having to taken to the hospital. So John meets up with the band's manager, Don, played by Scoot McNairy, and they start a casual conversation, but it leads to John actually being offered to fill in as keyboardist for the band's next gig, and ultimately being offered a spot in the band. So basically, while he's there, he meets this, he finds that, he is, in this band, and the band's leader, is ran by this guy, Frank. Now, Frank is this very interesting character, who's very mysterious, no one knows anything about. He wears this big, fat, mask, like, bobblehead sort of thing, that he doesn't take off. He even sleeps with it. He doesn't even eat. He eats with it, and John books them a gig to the South by Southwest Music Festival. But the question is, are they really ready for a gig like this? That's basically what the plot of Frank is. And I know there's a lot going on in that plot, but that's pretty much what the plot of Frank is. That's pretty much what the plot is. So, by the way, guys, I will leave a link below to the full movie if you guys want to check it out, because I highly recommend you do. It's a very small movie. It's not a relatively known movie. It's quite a small movie, but it's definitely a movie that I think you all should definitely check out. Now, let's talk about what made this movie really, really great. First, let's talk about the acting in Frank. The acting in Frank is really, really good, in my opinion. I thought the acting was very good. Let's talk about the main lead here. The main lead here is Domhnall Gleeson as John. He was very good. I really loved his character right away. In the very beginning, I loved his character. When he was trying to find a song to write, I really thought his character was definitely very good, in my opinion. Definitely, I really loved his character. One of the cool things about his character, I really thought this was cool, is while he is in this band, we actually see him on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, posting updates on the band, and posting, like, status updates on his life in the band, and it's very cool. It's a nice little experience for us to make it seem like this is a real band, because this is actually Frank is actually based off of a real person. It's based off of the story of Frank Sidebottom, who is also a comedian now, Chris Stevie. He's thought to have actually, he was the one who actually, the story's about him, so this really makes it seem like this band is real, and I thought that was just very cool the way they did that. But he was definitely a very good character. Really loved his character. Very fun character, definitely. He had some very, very funny parts in the movie, definitely. I really enjoyed his acting. He was definitely very, very good, in my opinion. Maggie Gyllenhaal plays Clara. She is Frank's sidekick. You know, she very much respects Frank. She doesn't really like John, though. I liked her character. I thought she was definitely very good. I thought, you know, she was definitely a good character. I enjoyed her overall. Definitely very good in the second half of the movie. Wow, I did not know she could sing like that. She has a very nice voice, and I really like, you know, by the way, I gotta credit everyone in this movie. Everyone in this movie, you know, there are many movies that are singing movies. You always wonder, are they going to be able to sing? Everyone in this movie can sing very, very well, and I thought that was definitely a very good thing about the movie, because that's always something I worry about when I see these kind of movies, is can they really sing very well, and everyone can sing very, very well. Yeah, so she was also very good. Scoot McNairy played the band's manager. He was very funny at points, although he had some very funny scenes, in my opinion. I like that he was a friend to John. He sort of mentored him. Definitely, he was very good. However, the best actor in this movie is Michael Fassbender as Frank. What can this guy not do? Seriously, everything I've seen Michael Fassbender, and he is amazing. This is probably definitely one of his best performances. Definitely one of the best performances I've seen him in. And the thing about his character is he's wearing this thick head throughout most of the movie. So you really don't get to see him actually act in the movie. He has to act through, like, you know, talking basically throughout most of the movie. And he's outstanding in the movie, definitely. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. His character was definitely very interesting. His character's so interesting to the point where he will literally go up to them and tell them how he is feeling, like what his facial expression is, because they can't see it. It's just a mask that's always smiling, so they don't actually know how he's feeling. So he'll say things like happy face or sad face or things like that. And I thought that was pretty cool, the way they did that, definitely. He had some very funny scenes, definitely. I thought he was definitely very funny. I definitely liked the scenes between him and John. I thought they worked very well together. I like that John really wanted to, find out more about Frank. Actually, the second half of the movie, it becomes more about Frank's story than it does about John's story. And I thought that was definitely very cool, in my opinion, definitely. He just did a great job. There's this one song at the end of the movie that he sang that almost brought me to tears, I'm not gonna lie. One song towards the very end of the movie. I'm not gonna spoil it. I will talk about it in the spoilers, but there's one thing that happens at the very end of the movie that Frank sings. It brought me to tears. It did. I almost cried. It really was that touching. And that's one of the great things about this movie is it is a comedy, but just like many indie movies, it does have a lot of heart to it, and I really like that about the movie. So that's really all the acting, and now let's get to the directing of the movie. The director of this movie is Lenny Abrahamson, who supposedly actually knew the real Frank. The real Frank, what was his name again? Frank Sidebottom. He actually knew him very, very well, so definitely he knew what he was doing. He set the tone perfectly with this movie. I really liked I thought he definitely set the tone very well. My only complaint with him is that there were points where I didn't know if there was supposed to be a funny scene or if it was supposed to be a dramatic scene. The second half of the movie he did a very good job with. The first few minutes of the movie, it took me a little bit while to realize, is this supposed to be funny or is this, supposed to be dramatic? There were a couple points when I was wondering that, but he definitely set the tone very well, and I really liked his directing the movie. Cinematography, nothing that special. Thought the cinematography was good. Editing was perfect. Editing was actually perfect in my opinion. This movie is quite short. I would want it to be just a tad bit longer, like say 5 minutes longer. I would have wanted that a little bit more. The movie ends kind of abruptly. I was like, okay, that's the ending. I was surprised how quickly the movie went, definitely. The movie is very, very short. And, the movie just ends with, like, this song, and then it was over. I thought something else was going to happen, and it didn't end up happening. So, that was definitely very surprising. But I did like the way the movie ended overall, and that was definitely very good. So now let's get to some spoilers for Frank. I highly recommend you guys do check out this movie. Again, it is an indie movie. It's not a movie I'm sure you guys have heard about. If you guys want to see the full movie, I will leave the link in the description below. If you guys have not seen this movie, don't watch Justice Review. Watch the link below, and then after you've watched the link, then come back and watch Justice Review. Okay, so let's talk about the movie. So the biggest thing to talk about with Frank, of course, is the fact that the second half of the movie focused very much on Frank. John told him to take off his mask because, they had that huge mishap happen at the South by Southwest Music Festival. The moment that one girl said to him, I would be really scared to go up there in front of a million people, that's when I knew, okay, something bad is going to happen. The moment that she said that, I knew something bad was going to happen. And it did. Frank ended up getting stage fright and not being able to perform. And then when Frank's mask got crushed, I actually thought that was a very good twist because I want to see how he actually was. And, John eventually is looking for Frank. He goes down to find Frank, and I like what his parents said to him. His parents said that Frank suffered a mental illness, but he wasn't, like, retarded or anything. He suffered this mental illness, and he's worn the mask ever since then. Definitely, I thought that was well done. And then, of course, he comes back to the band and he sings the song I Love You All. And I think really what they're trying to show here is that Frank realized that it's not about your image. That's one of the big things about this movie. John is very much into mainstream stuff. And that's one of the things about Clara that we're supposed to like, is that Clara is not into that. Clara is very much into the indie type of music. John is very much into mainstream. He likes making the band seem like they're this huge band that everybody knows. He likes making them seem like a very mainstream band. And Frank really realizes that it's not about that. It's just about the music that you sing. And I thought that was a very good message, in my opinion. The way the movie showed that was definitely a very good message. And, the message, of course, is it's not about what you wear or how you act or the image you're trying to sell. It's about the music you're trying to say. And the song he sang at the end, that's really what brought me to tears. I Love You All when he sang that. I love that song. Definitely the best song in the movie by far was I Love You All. Thought he did a great job there. Love that song. Definitely was a great way to end the movie, and I really did love that. So yeah, overall, I really enjoyed Frank. Thought it was a terrific movie. Definitely a movie that I recommend a lot of you check out. It is a little bit, my only complaint with the movie, as I said, is that sometimes the movie didn't really know if it was supposed to be funny or serious. I didn't really know the whole time. But for the most part, I really loved Frank. Thought it was a very good movie. Definitely one of the best movies of the year. Highly recommend you guys check out Frank. It is a fantastic movie. It has a great message, definitely, especially from Michael Fassbender. Amazing performance from him. He definitely did a great job. And he was absolutely fantastic. And the movie is absolutely fantastic. So that's basically it for my review of Frank. I hope you guys enjoyed it. So let me know what you guys saw this movie. Again, the link to two things is in the description below. My Letterboxd review of Frank and also the full movie on Putlocker. You guys can check it out down below. Yeah, so I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be either for my review of tonight's episode of Outlander. By the way, guys, I'm not watching. I might watch Doctor Who. I don't know. I'm contemplating whether or not to watch it. But, if I don't, my next review will be for either Outlander or another movie review. So I'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.